Graham G. Samathis here, BleacherReport.com. Survivor Series coming up this weekend live on Peacock, November 26th, 2022, 8 p.m. on Peacock. As I mentioned, today we're talking to the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, the captain of her team for the Women's War Games match coming up on Saturday. Very exciting matchup. Bianca, obviously, you're no stranger to War Games. What's going on? Thanks for taking the time.
Everything's good. Just preparing for War Games. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. It's wild. I think the first time we spoke was before Survivor Series 2 years ago, when you were on Team SmackDown for that show. So much has changed since then, obviously. You were one of the sole survivors last year as well. You're going to be a big part of this show. Just talk a little bit about that as far as the journey. I mean, we all know your journey. We've seen on WWE for the last 2 years, but from where you were 2 years ago to where you are now, from being in just another match on the show to being one of the featured matches in War Games, so much can change in 2 years. It's crazy.
So much can change. I think I'm a walking testament of how quickly things can change. I mean, WWE, things come so fast, and I live by the motto, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And don't prepare when the opportunity presents itself. You got to be ready when the opportunity presents itself. So, for me, this will be my third Survivor Series.
I think so, yeah.
Actually my fourth, because my first one was in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
First year it was NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown, and we won that one. Did we win that one? We won that one.
I think you guys won that match. I forgot you were on that show. Yeah.
Whoa, Team NXT won, yes. And then the second year I was Team SmackDown, and I almost won. But almost doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
And last year I was Team Raw, and I was the sole survivor. So it's been a journey. It's been an evolution. And now we're here going into War Games Survivor Series, and ironically I was a part of the very first ever women's War Games match back in NXT, so it feels like it's full circle. It's a lot of some of the same women that were a part of that very first one is a part of this one. It's a lot of different feuds mingling and intertwining in this one. My team is still searching for our fifth member to have a strong team. And it's just exciting. And I'm excited for 10 women to go in there and be able to showcase ourselves.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. Like you said, full circle, because not only were you in the first Women's War Games 3 years ago, that was the same weekend as your first Survivor Series appearance. So it all kind of adds up. It all kind of makes sense, which is cool. And like you said, a lot of the women that are in this match were in either that first one or have been in it since. I think Dakota's been in every Women's War Games there's been in the last 3 years. I think in NXT.
I think Dakota and EO too, maybe?
EO too. EO, yeah, she may have been in all three of them as well, including this one coming up, obviously opposite of your team, which is pretty wild. But, I mean, it's cool to see where you started as part of NXT, where you are now. You have Triple H in charge now, running things, and a lot of those same women that were in NXT are either been brought up to Raw and SmackDown or been brought back to the company, which is cool, Dakota being one of them. Just talk about that. I feel like the magic that the NXT women's division had when you were there, we're kind of getting more of that now on Raw and SmackDown. It kind of feels like not what's old is new again, but what was happening there in NXT, we're getting on Raw, and it's really cool to see with you guys still in the mix.
Yeah, I feel like kind of feels like NXT all over again. And I think when we were in NXT, it was amazing. It was special. And it was a time where, the women's locker room was just full of just women empowerment. And we were competitors, but we wanted the best for each other. We were going out there and delivering some amazing matches. And now we're right back to that. But what's amazing is that it's 3, 4, 5 years later, and it's those same women, but we've all gotten even better.
Mm-hmm.
And we've evolved. And so it's exciting to see where it's going to go and how much better it can get. And, also now combining that along with the women that were there before us, combining that with the Baileys and the Charlottes and the Beckys and, with Dana and Tamina and Natalia and Liv Morgan. We have so many women that we can't even fit them all in the War Games match. So it's exciting, and it's just really cool to see how that whole NXT crop is now we're all right back here again, but we're even better. So it's going to go down at War Games.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool collection of the NXT women's division from all eras, not just in this match, but just in general in WWE right now, because Mia just came back recently. Obviously, she was very much in the thick of things in NXT when you were there. Even
Yep.
Emma, who was in NXT as part of the women's division 8 years ago, was back on SmackDown. So we're kind of seeing the best of the best all coming for, the top titles on Raw and SmackDown. You being one of them, you're the Raw Women's Champion. No stranger to being a champion, of course. You were the SmackDown Women's Champion last year. You've been Raw Women's Champion now for what, over 200 days? Is that what we're at now?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's climbing up there. It's past days.
Talk about that. I mean, this is obviously the longest reign that you've had in WWE to date as a champion. Just feeling that pressure. Do you still feel the same pressure now that you did 6-7 months ago that you did at WrestleMania when you won it? Or is it more becoming more commonplace to you as far as, all right, this is what I can expect? And you've had so many high profile matches too. Like, does it become more normal or does it never really settle in for you?
I mean, it definitely becomes more expected. I would say it's never a comfortable place. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're never comfortable as champion. If anything, like I was describing, like my chase to getting the title, I felt like I had nothing to lose. So I had like this tunnel vision where it was just like, I'm going for the title. I have nothing to lose. And then when you get the title, the work doesn't stop. It just starts over in a different way. Now I have everything to lose. Now I have a target on my back. Now everyone's coming for me. But what I love is that I feel like I've learned from a lot of my mistakes. As SmackDown Women's Champion, I feel like my title reign was cut very short and quick. I was surprised and thrown off my feet, and I'll never be caught off guard again. I'll know that anybody can come at me at any time, any place. I just had a little crossing with Rhea, and it didn't surprise me at all. So I'm like, okay, I was expecting this. But no, I just feel like now I'm in even more higher profile matches, and I love it though. I love having this reputation of being like big match Belair and being able to deliver every single time. And I just feel like it's an honor to be at the top of the division and be representation and be the woman that has this on my shoulder. But I feel like this is like redemption. Like I said, I feel like my SmackDown title reign was so much shorter than I would have liked, and I feel like this is my do-over. Mm-hmm. It's been tough and challenging because in the beginning I felt like everything just kept going wrong.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like this person got hurt and I couldn't wrestle them, and then this happened and that. It's just like I had to keep thing, but in the end, it's just made me better. So I love my journey.
Yeah, it's cool because it seems like, I mean, obviously you've progressed and you've had this great journey and you've developed in every way possible. But like the longer that we've seen you, since the moment you arrived on the main roster 2.5 years ago, you've been a fan favorite this entire time. For someone that came into NXT as the EST, this great bad guy, this awesome heel, you've been a fan favorite this entire time, and like a through and through fan favorite. That people do not boo you. I've been at a handful of these shows, Bianca. People have not turned on you. And wrestling is weird nowadays, where people like the bad guys. It's cool. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. We have Triple H in charge now. Really, with what you have done, hasn't really changed in a positive way, because what was working is still working. Like, is there anything that you can attest to that, just being you, like the most you version of you, and any conversations you've had with Triple H as far as just staying the course? Like, anything you can comment on that?
For me, it's just the best gift I can give someone is being myself. Yeah. And if I go around, walk around, call myself the EST of WWE, I have to believe it. And I have to stay true to myself. Like, I'm big on that, just being unapologetically me and just going out there and being genuinely me. And either you're going to like it or you're going to love it. But I'm going to love myself to the point where you're not going to have a choice. But, it's a weird time where, like, people love the bad guys and people love to cheer them. And it's just like, that's fine. That's what you like. But I'm here for the people that are for me. And eventually everybody else will eventually jump on the bandwagon. But all I can do is just be myself and be the ESG. And I feel like that's what you're able to connect with people when you just show that showing up as yourself is simply enough. And I amplify it, of course, but I just want to inspire people. I want it to be more than just people watching me do 450s and hair whips and KODs. Like, it's not just remembering what I do. It's like remembering how I make you feel. And that's my main mission.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. And I think, again, we've seen that throughout your journey. You've proven yourself throughout this Raw Women's Championship reign. But at that same time, like I said, you played such a great bad guy in those. I think people forget about it in those first few months of NXT because it was so long ago. Do you see a day down the road? I'm not saying tomorrow or next month, but down the road where you can go back to being that, or is that time gone, you think?
I don't know. Oh man, I feel like I have so many like a positive impact,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
walking out and seeing like the signs, or walking out and seeing kids,
Yeah.
walking out and see people come up to me and saying like, you inspired me, like not even to be like a wrestler, but you inspired me to go back to school. You inspired me to go start on my like fitness journey. You inspired me to apply for that job. Like to have that connection with people and to think about maybe possibly turning on people. I feel like it's me turning on them, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
And maybe, I mean, I feel like NXT I had so much fun.
Mhm.
It was fun to be a bad guy. But I feel like EST, you know, it can go either way. It can go in a positive way of being like, don't dim your light, don't let anyone tell you to shrink yourself. And then but then it can go overboard where you know, people that are like, no, I'm here, but in order to be here, I need for you to be down there, and I'm going to
Mhm.
berate you so that I can make myself feel better, and I'm better than you. Like it can go either way. So we'll see. I'll
Yeah.
never because NXT Belair she was something. She was something. I mean, she
Yep.
was something.
Yeah. You were undefeated for over a year and a half or whatever it was as that person. So again, anything, not to say you haven't been successful in the main roster, I mean, that championship proves it right there, obviously, but anything can happen. I mean, surely you've heard the buzz from fans at a certain point, the idea of you and Montez at some point down the road. Again, the positive impact you guys have had is amazing. The idea of you guys as a couple on screen, obviously in real life is too, but as a bad guy couple just screams money to me. I don't know. That just makes sense. I know you guys have a show coming out on Hulu. I don't know if that would shine some light on that, but it just seems to make sense. You know, does that idea cross your mind at all?
I mean, yeah, of course. And I feel like even like a bad guy like NXT Belair, like you see glimpses of her. Like if somebody like pushed me a little too much, like Bailey, when she pushed me a little too
Yeah.
much, you see a little of it. But no, definitely. Like I think that Montez and I down the road in the future, we could be like this amazing, just like overly, you know, like where you like love to hate us but hate to love us at the same time. Like, but I think that I once I feel like that's like later on down the line,
Yeah.
maybe like once my course is Bianca Belair, you know, he has to run his, you know, he has to get those tag team titles back first with the Street Profits, and then later on down the line, like he's gonna be like the biggest solo act out there. I'm saying it right now that he will be that guy. And then at the end of that, I think that's when, you know, eventually we'll come together, and then we can be that major just power couple in WWE and be like, pow.
It's coming down the road. Last question for Bianca on that same note. As far as looking down the line, we got Survivor Series coming up on the 26th, as I mentioned. WrestleMania, you mentioned it earlier. As far as Rhea, you guys cross paths. We're having Mania, or not Mania itself, but Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Stand and Deliver, all coming to the Crypto.com Arena, Los Angeles next year. Tickets already on sale from when this goes live. But Rhea and you, it just seems like such a natural Mania match. As far as looking down the road, you don't want to overlook what you're going on right now. To you, does that make sense as a Mania match?
It's gonna happen. I mean, it just makes so much sense. If you think about it, Rhea and I have been going at it for years,
Yeah.
and we're fighting to take, you know, Shayna Baszler, the Shayna Baszler era. NXT, we're fighting to take her down. Rhea got her. I didn't. I went after Rhea again. I failed. We crossed paths again at the Royal Rumble, where I won and went on to WrestleMania. I won my first title WrestleMania. She won her first title that same WrestleMania. So like we're on equal sides doing amazing things. And we're eventually going to cross paths. And you know, to kind of run into her at Raw was like, I see you. And she was like, I see you too. And I was like, and I'll see you later. Not right now. But I think like it's gonna happen. It's gonna be monumental, it's gonna be huge. And I think that's a WrestleMania match. But I mean maybe this year, maybe WrestleMania 40. But I will say that I still have my short-term goal in my head to take down all four horsewomen. So I've gotten three. I have Charlotte left.
She's
And
ducking you. She's not back yet. She's ducking you.
I know. And I feel like with the things that Rhea's doing right now and how brutal she is, like I need that confidence of like taking someone like Charlotte Flair. If I
Mm.
take Charlotte Flair down, that's the top of the mountain. I need that momentum to go after Rhea, because I'm gonna need all the confidence in the world to, before I stand up against Rhea.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the match for Mania 39 instead. It could be you and Charlotte. It could be you and Rhea. It could be someone that we're not even thinking of right now. That's the beauty of WrestleMania, you know?
Like being a champion, it could be anybody. In WrestleMania, it's going to be who. I gotta hope first. I gotta hold on to this to WrestleMania. So either I'll be defending it or trying to get it back at Mania. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. I mean, listen, people were pitching you and Sasha for Mania 37. It was, and that months in advance, as soon as you showed up on SmackDown, and we got it. So it's the power of willing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got to will it into existence.
Hashtag going on too.
Yeah, we're going on year 2 as you as champion, Bianca. I'm looking forward to it. We got that coming up. Survivor Series, as I mentioned. You and Rhea are going to cross paths in that match. He's on the opposite team. November 26th on Peacock, as they mentioned. Bianca, you're the Raw Women's Champion. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.